Savez-vous que Acorn Canada établit le salaire vital d'Ottawa à 13,50 l'heure? Les gens qui gagnent moins que ça doivent parfois avoir recours aux banques alimentaires et logements subventionnés.
People who haven't been following this strike for the past month, what pushed these workers to go to strike in the first place?
How about $11.33 an hour, and the increase being 23 cents an hour, which translates into $10 a week? You know, on the surface of it, the Salvation Army will say, well, these were good increases, 7.5% over 3 years. For our public sector workers, sounds fabulous compared to what they've been getting. So on paper, the statistics look good, but in reality, it still means that it's an effective cut in wages because the increase does not cover the amount of inflation, and it does mean that the lower end scale workers are going to continue to have to use the food bank.
Larry, you and your colleagues at the PSAC must be relieved because there were rumors before this budget was tabled that as many as 60,000 public service jobs could be lost. Are you pleased with this budget?
Absolutely. Do I look pleased? I'm going to tell you right now that it's not just because the government has said that it's 19,200. We have several weeks coming where we're going to be going through this document. We're going to look at the subparagraphs, the fine print, etc., because I'm sure there's a lot in this budget that's hidden and we haven't gotten to see yet. We have to go through the whole thing, and there's budget implementation as well. I think that it's going to be much worse than what Mr. Flaherty's trying to put a nice face on it, but it's worse than that.
Pour avoir une saine gestion de l'État, une rigueur au niveau de l'État, il fallait faire le ménage et on nous disait que 70% des coupes, c'était dans le fond faire du ménage.
Quel ménage? Parce que quand on coupe dans les services, là, c'est les services qui sont livrés aux Canadiens. Et je donne un exemple bien précis, parce que hier, il y a un article qui en faisait état. Imaginez que maintenant, pour l'inspection des aliments, on va réduire dans l'inspection des aliments et on va demander aux consommateurs et aux consommatrices de lire eux-mêmes les étiquettes pour savoir si les étiquettes sur les produits qu'on achète, les produits alimentaires, sont conformes à la réglementation. Imaginez-vous, les économistes disent que les coupes à ces organisations vont faire disparaître 37 000 postes d'ici 2015. Au bout du compte, au moins 70 000 emplois des secteurs publics et privés seront éliminés, sans compter les nombreux emplois temporaires et occasionnels qui prendront fin.
They argue that there's a big deficit, and they argue over the last 3 years they increased the size of the service by 25 to 35%. So they're cutting now, as they said they would do.
Why is there a deficit, Evan? There's a deficit because it was created by this conservative government. You reduce the revenues coming in, of course you're going to create a deficit. But don't reduce the revenues coming in, create a deficit, and say the way to correct that is to cut jobs.
But we were promised that wouldn't be the case, that they would be the back office staff. The finance minister himself said that.
It's a budget about jobs and growth, yet we're cutting jobs, and even economists are saying with these kinds of cuts,
you're really starting to attack growth as well.
The parliamentary budget officer
this government is saying one thing and they're doing another, and that's why the PSAC is just, we're doing what we can to counter these.
Okay, whether it's corporate tax cuts or whether it's businesses leaving Ontario with good paying jobs, or whether it's corporations that are polluting our environment, it is all the same thing. It is organized corporate theft, and we are getting stuck, and we are getting shafted by this corporate way. So let's tell McGuinty and Harper and all of these corporatists that we're going to shove it up their corporate way, and the NDP is going to make a very clear statement here, and we're going to say no more. Two, one, all right, go!
And you're up. Thank you. Thank you again for working.